Hello there, everybody. My name is Michael Sova, and I am the teacher librarian and tech teacher at Diane Feinstein Elementary School. First of all, thank you for being a substitute teacher for our school. It is very, very helpful, obviously, to all of us. And in this time of distance learning, it is very, very important that you know the ins and outs of Zoom. Admittedly, it can have a pretty high learning curve, but I'm making this video to help you get yourself set up as a substitute to maximize your success with our students. So the first thing that I recommend you do is download Zoom on your computer. So I just put in the search box Zoom download. Click on the download. It should automatically start downloading, and then it gives you this handy dandy. Click to install Zoom. So you will go through that whole process to download Zoom. Once you have Zoom downloaded, you can open up the app, which I already have on my computer, and it'll ask you to sign in, and it'll take you to the Zoom homepage. Now, I've already set up my account and added some bells and whistles on there. You can take the time to do that if you want to, but I wanted to take a look at the settings because there are some settings that are optimal for your success as a sub for our kids. So you definitely want the waiting room on because that will help prevent Zoom bombing, which isn't as much of a thing anymore, but it still can happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through all of these settings, and of course you can play around with as many settings as you want, but some of them that I'm going to talk about are really important. So scrolling down to this one, only authenticated users can join meetings. Now there are different schools of thought on this one. I keep mine off just in case one of our students can't get on to Zoom and their parents need to get onto Zoom. They can use their parents' device to get on. For extra security, you could keep it on, but I like to keep it off just in case. The next one I'm going to scroll down to is the videos. Obviously, you want your video on, and then I like to turn participants' video on, and what that means is when the students first come into Zoom, their videos are automatically on, and they can turn it off if they want to, but it might help the students keep their videos on, which can help maximize their engagement. The next one I'm going to scroll down to is chat. So I like to keep the chat on so that kids can chat with each other and with you, and you can chat with them. That's another way they can stay engaged if they're too shy to use their voice. But private chat I like to keep off, and that will prevent students from privately chatting with each other, because what can happen is they will chat about things that have nothing to do with what you're teaching, and the chat could get a little questionable. So we like to keep that off. The next thing I'm going to scroll down to is sounding notification when someone joins or leaves. I like to have that on so I know when people are coming in the meeting, but just for the host and the co-hosts. Everyone doesn't need to hear that because it can get distracting. Okay, the next one is co-host, and this allows you to add co-hosts in case a specials teacher like myself comes into your Zoom class. You can make me or anybody the co-host, and we will have the same powers in the Zoom meeting. The next one I'm going to scroll down is screen sharing. You want that on so you can share your screen. Maybe you want to play a video or do a read aloud under a camera. I advise that only the host shares for subs. It can make your life a little easier. The next one is annotation, and when you share the screen, that means you can annotate what you're looking at. You can type, you can draw, you can highlight. It's a really great tool to have. However, I would have this box clicked so it allows you to save the screens with the annotations, just in case you want to pass it along to the regular classroom teacher for whom you're subbing. The next one, and I promise we're almost done with this part. The next one is breakout rooms. You definitely want this turned on in case you want to put the students into breakout rooms. And I would recommend that this box be clicked. That allows you to assign participants when you're scheduling. And that is it for the app, for the Zoom web page settings. Of course, you can change other ones that you want to, but these are the basics. So now I'm going to start a meeting, and I'm going to show you some other settings while you're in the Zoom meeting. So let me move this down a little bit, and oh, hello, by the way. I'm Mr. Sova. Nice to see you. So here I have a meeting. Now the meeting is just with myself, so it might limit what I'll be able to show you. But over here, you can either go to the microphone icon or the camera icon, and you can go to audio settings, or you can go to video settings. It'll take you to this same settings window. I'm going to click on General up here, and I'm going to go through some settings that you should definitely have for your Zoom meeting. You always want to show your meeting controls, which are these down here, so you don't have to keep searching for them because they'll get hidden and then they'll pop up if they're not always shown, so it makes it handy. And that's the only one in general that I feel is really necessary. If you go into video here, I recommend that you mirror your video, because you might think you're putting up your left hand and it shows up as your right, and you don't know where to look and which way is over there. So if you mirror it, I'm putting up my left hand and I can see that I'm putting up my left hand. So it's very handy. Also, I would also adjust for low light depending on where you're in your home. You might have some low light, and Zoom will automatically adjust that for you if that's clicked on. Okay, any questions? No? All right, let's keep going. In the audio section, for the microphone, there's two different settings. You can automatically adjust the microphone volume, and as you can see, it's about halfway, which is where it should be. But if that's not if the students or other teachers are saying they can't hear you, you can quickly go into these settings and you can adjust it so it's much louder. This is probably way too loud. So I'm going to go back to automatic. Automatic should usually do it for you. Let me go back and adjust that a little bit. There we go. You can also test your speakers if you want to. Or you can adjust the output volume with the volume cord or the volume button on your computer, on your device. I would also make sure that you are suppressing the background noise automatically. That is very important, just to keep the background noise where you are at a minimum. Okay. So all these other ones you can click through if you want to. There really aren't any critical things that you need to do for your day of teaching. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here. Now, in your Zoom meeting, there are some other settings. Oh my gosh, I promise we're almost done. If you go to participants and click on that, you can mute everybody, and just in case the kids have unmuted themselves and it sounds like a symphony of cacophony, you can click participants and click mute all, and you don't have to allow them to unmute themselves. And then you mute everybody. Now, if you do want them to be able to unmute themselves, you can either click on mute all again and click this and give them the freedom to do that. Or you could click on more, and there are some choices here. And right here you can unclick allow participants to unmute themselves, or you can click it. So if your students are being responsible with their muting, definitely let them unmute themselves. But if they're not, and you've already talked with them about them needing to stay muted while you're teaching, and they're not doing it, you can unclick that, and they won't be able to mute themselves. But I'm going to go ahead and keep that clicked. Okay. In the chat, kids can send chats to each other. And if the chat starts getting crazy, off-topic, irrelevant, silly, goofy, distracting, you can go over to this little box with the 3 dots, and you can choose who the participants can chat with. If you click no one, that means none of the students can chat with each other. If you click host only, then kids can only chat with you. And you might want to definitely keep that as your default in case they need to tell you something and they don't want to unmute themselves. Or you can click everyone publicly, and then everybody can chat with everybody. And if they're being responsible, that is great. But again, if they're not being responsible and you've talked with the kids a couple times, you might have to tell them, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to close the chat for a few minutes. And then of course you can go back and you can reopen it and give the kids another chance. Okay, here in share screen, couple tips. If you click on share screen, you're going to have all these different screens up. I only have Zoom up, so it's not going to show anything else. But if you have a video that's queued up, you want to click optimize screen share for video clip, and that way the kids will be able to hear the video just like it's coming out of their computer, not coming out of your computer into their microphone and then out their speaker. So this is a very important one to click. Let's see. So let's say I'm sharing my whiteboard, and you've got this this menu, and the annotation menu pops up. This will allow you to, whoops, wait a minute. This will allow you to type. Oh my gosh, maybe I need to learn how to type. If you click draw, you'll be able to draw different things. You can highlight, you can change what the drawing looks like. You've got an eraser. And also where it says more, you can disable annotation for others. So sometimes kids might try to be a little sneaky, and they will annotate your whiteboard from wherever they are. And it might get kind of crazy. So if you click that, oh, I just clicked it. If you click disable, click, then they won't be able to annotate. But if you're asking the kids to work If you're asking the kids to work with you and you ask them to annotate, just go back here, enable it, and they'll be able to annotate. Phew! All right, let's get out of here. I'm going to stop my sharing, go back to my meeting. If you set up breakout rooms, you can assign them automatically, manually. You can let the kids choose their own rooms, but for your purposes, you might want to create them automatically. And then I created 5 rooms. You want to go to this little sprocket down here, and I would advise that you have the kids go automatically move into their breakout rooms. The students are really good about putting themselves into breakout rooms, but just in case maybe someone stepped away from their computer, they'll automatically get put in their breakout rooms. You can set a countdown after closing the breakout room. You can change the timer. I like to do 15 seconds. Maybe you like to do 30 or 60. It's up to you. So let me get out of here. And the very last thing, I promise, is when you are in a meeting, and I won't be able to do it here, but when you are in a meeting, if you go if you have the whole class on your screen, if you go up into the left-hand corner of where your picture is, you'll see a little blue box with 3 dots in it. And if you click on that and choose Spotlight, that will make your face the biggest one on the screen. And that is really helpful for the kids to maintain their engagement with you. So spotlight yourself. Okay, thank you so much. I'm sorry this was so long. I hope it was helpful. And if you have any questions before you start subbing, you can email me. Oh, I'll put it in the chat. Again, my name is Michael Sova, and I'm the teacher librarian and tech teacher, and my email is, oh, it's terrible. I have to look at my fingers. sovam@sfusd.edu. You can send me an email before you start subbing, and I will do my best to help. Have a great day, and thanks again for subbing at our school.